Welcome to the Profitable Cleaner podcast. Join your hosts, James Harper and Angel Sandoval, bringing you the experts, discussions, and knowledge you want. We talk about sales, technology, marketing, operations, strategy, leadership, mindset, health, God, and so much more. Now, are you ready to profit?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Profitable Cleaner. Today, we got a superstar in the house. Man, am I excited for this guest, that's for sure. As you guys know, we're going to have our roundtable leaders and our keynotes as the initial podcast episodes for the Profitable Cleaner. And today we get the honor of interviewing Mr. Alex Sander Melgar. Welcome to the podcast, sir.
Thank you, Angel. Good to see you, and good to see you, James.
Looking forward to it, man. Super pumped.
James, how you doing, man? You ready to rock and roll?
I'm ready to rock and roll, man. Every time I'm on meeting with Alex, I'm always ready to rock.
Good. Well, as you guys know, the topic for today, we're going to talk about business scalability. I mean, I know Alex has been able to scale from 0 to, I won't tell you how much, really long. If you want to find out, go to the event and talk to him personally. But Alex, let me ask you a quick question. We're just going to dive right in, and let's give him a lot of value for the next 30 minutes. My first question to you, what the hell does business scalability even mean? Everybody uses that word, but there's so many different sizes. So just give us some insight into just business scalability in your eyes.
To me, business scalability means change. It means that you change it, constantly moving forward, changing things. If you think of this from the concept of a construction, when you build in a house, right? And when you use small company, you might not use the most strong materials to it, right? So you start building this little house and you put these columns, right? They're not the stronger ones, but you say, well, next time I'm gonna add another room, and then eventually you want to build the second floor of the house. Well, you remember those pillars that you built in the first place, and you didn't have the resources to build a stronger one and whole second floor. Oh yeah, but you put a second floor on it. Eventually, right? If you don't put attention to those things, it fail. So it's growth. It's continually building yourself, building your team. That's scalability, right? Being looking at those things that you can probably avoid to fail, and like building a car while you're driving it, per se, right?
Okay, I was not expecting that, I'm gonna be honest. Business scalability means change. And then whenever you create something, because a lot of the times people are like, oh, I just want to scale. And they're like, well, what does that mean to you? And they're like, more money, more revenue, more money, more revenue. But you just made a good point. Revenue is one thing, but what does your foundation look like? Did you upgrade your materials? I love that. Did you change your processes, your improvements? So scalability is not only revenue driven, correct?
It is actually 100% correct. I mean, let's put it this way. I use the analogy of things that people can relate to. All right. Here you are, and you have a Toyota car, and Toyota is a great car, by the way. But you decide one day you want to change the engine, and you put a Lamborghini engine right inside, the Toyota car. That's what revenues does. That's your revenue. Oh, here, I mean, I'm having from $1 million to $10 million. Yes, the big engine. Very good. What happened when that car started running at 150 miles an hour? Toyota, that body that you know now, that's your policies, your I would say processes, everything that's related to growth, right, and change. They're not ready to take on 150 miles an hour. Those tires will blow. It makes sense. What I'm telling you is, it's so interesting when people talk about just scalability is revenues. Revenues is only what allow you to bring the resources that you need to replace that tire, in that analogy of the car. And so I like to always tell people, like, look, I'm gonna tell you some things that you can relate. Now, when you're talking about true scalability, you're gonna be thinking, remember, the same way as the house, can hold the second floor, right? You might have the resources now. You might have the revenues. So what do you do with the revenues? You just don't come and expand the second floor, more departments. Now the pillars, same with the tires. Those are the things that you need to change. That's why I call it scalability is change. It's not doing the same thing you did yesterday to achieve something you want for tomorrow. It's to do something that you needed tomorrow that will change it today.
What the? Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. That line. Yep. I got to process that one.
Well, here, I actually have a follow-up question to that. Alex, one of the coolest things that I had the opportunity to do when we were in Denver last November at our first event, which is why I'm so excited for people to meet you at this upcoming event, was I had this conversation with you and we were talking about business growth and levels. And you said something, I don't even know if you remember telling me this, but you said anyone can make it to 1 million. Anyone can like grind and survive their way to 1 million. 1 million to 5 million is a different level of scale. 5 million to 10 million, you have different problems. And then you said something interesting. And I said, okay, what kind of problems? And I want to talk about the levels of scale to give people context because you've been there. You were like at 10 million, all of a sudden you need to make sure your legal's on point. When you hit 15 million, you hit the radar of the IRS. And then you were talking about these different levels of scale. And I think putting a Lamborghini engine into a Toyota, the car is going to break at 150 miles per hour. The body's going to break. Can you just kind of walk us through those levels of scale and some potential problems or radars you hit along the way?
Yeah. All right. So yeah, I do remember having that conversation with you. In every business, there's a life cycle of any business, right? In the same way, there's a life, I would say, a cycle in the entrepreneurship life. So essentially, what happened? I'm gonna use the entrepreneurship life before I tell you what the different stages are in the business, because everything starts with the leader, with the dreamer, right? As an entrepreneur, you come and you know how to do floors, so we say, or use cleaning, right? Or you're a landscaper, whatever is the case, right? 90% of us that started in the maintenance industry, we are operators. So at one point, we were the guys doing the service. So the analogy I always use is that there's 3 stages in that entrepreneurship cycle. The first one is the I, right? Which is you the one actually running to the bank, making the deposit, calling the customer to collect. You the one at nighttime, going to service the customer. You the customer. You all. I do. And then it comes the second stage, which is the we. Now, let's take a pause there just for a little bit. What that means, right? Well, if you were the guy running to the bank and making the deposit, you were the guy calling the customers to collect. You were the guy doing the service. And now you say, well, I'm going to the next stage and I need to increase personnel to my company. How did that look like? And the big question here is, what are you willing to let go? Because one of the biggest, struggles for someone who been doing it themselves is that they perfection that cycle. I do it. I do my collections and I'm the best collecting, from my customer. I'm the one that answered the phone and I know what to tell my customer. My customer loves me. So the question will be moving to the next stage in that cycle is, what are you willing to give up? And when I mean give up control. Maybe not powers. Maybe you get power. Controls is complete different things. And then it comes to the next stage, and this is they. Why? When you refer to the group as you separate yourself now, you're not in the I anymore. You're not in the we. You say, my team, their team will take care of it. So right there, that's a different, because now you become only a manager of resources. Many entrepreneurs have an issue, relating or on their teams to make decisions. I think that there's a point where your job is to provide guidance, mentoring, and managing resources, pumping the energy of your team, right? selling that vision that you have, which is interesting because we as entrepreneurs, when we start hiring, we won't from the I to the we start bringing individuals the belief in our vision, because you're not big enough they can see a huge logo behind you, but they have to believe in your vision, right? When you separate yourself from the day, they have to keep up that vision. It's a complete different mindset. Now, your question is, what struggles you're going to find along the way, with the business? So what are those pain points? Well, the answer really, truly should be depending how quickly and how well adjustable you are to change when moving to those 3 stages. Because you're going to require to create processes that will keep those guys following your vision, but also, keeping them attached to the business when you're not there. Make
I'm
sense?
sorry. That was like the most methodical question ever. Telling you the fact that you identify scalability with change, and then the way that what are you willing to let go of? Some people want to scale, but they want to do everything. You can't scale while doing everything, right? I have a question for you. You said there's a difference. I think that's gonna blow people's minds because my mind's blown right now. Control versus power. I think people think that control is power. Therefore, the less they let go, the more power they retain. That's how a lot of people see it. What's the difference in your mind between control and power? And follow-up question would be, do I get more power if I let go of more control? That's a caveat there.
Can a CEO in the position of, I would say, a manager, can a manager dictate what happened? How the team execute?
All right, hang with me for the next minute and a half. We got a quick break here in the Profitable Cleaner because we're officially official. It's like I like to say it. Why? Because I get to take this break and introduce our sponsors. First sponsors is USource. So go to usource.com. That's usource.com. This is a business management platform for facility services companies. No more chaos, unnecessary admin work, or just having to consolidate information. This is about you not being the source of information anymore and having a platform that can give you the accessibility, visibility, and control over your operation. So see more, do more, whether you're 1 employee or 3,000 employees. This is the platform for you. So check out our sponsor, usource.com. Our second sponsor, dayporter.com. They will help you with all your outbound, LinkedIn, email, call, and they're going to do it with a team from Latin America. So make sure that you reach out to them, dateporter.com. They can help you hire your next superstar and give you the strategies to go book the walkthroughs that you're looking for. The third one is going to be Melgar Consulting. That's alexmelgar.com. If you're hovering around the $5 million range and you're in the facility services industry, want to hit those 20, want to keep bumping your head and really want to scale, he is going to be able to consult and help you have the right foundation, the right structure, and the right strategies, and the right advisory and consulting to get you past those 5 to 20 million. So go to alexmelgar.com. And last but not least, our fourth sponsor, cleaningprofits.com. That is our annual event for facility services CEO, executive teams, leadership teams. Bring them out. This is all about transformation. It's all about training. It's all about community. And it's held once a year, this year, September 12th to the 14th. So thank you once again to all of our sponsors. And let's continue on to the show.
All right. Absolutely.
100%.
Power. But do you have control of the outcome? You don't. So in a democracy, all right, in a business owner, we got to understand, many times I tell people, businesses is not a democracy. You have a CEO. The CEO is there to make decisions. A manager is there to guide and manage those resources that the CEO provided. we, they. Now, power, you can have power. You can actually come and override your manager. Absolutely. Sue you. Maybe not, right? Might be a little complicated. Because when we, and I'm going to go even deeper on that question, because one thing that grabbed my attention is that we hire, and this is a Steve Jobs quote, we hire smart people so we don't have to tell them what to do. We hire smart people so they can tell us how to do it. Now, see, you think about that statement, it's powerful. I love it. It's very powerful. But you know what the problem is? Nobody talks about when things start going south, things don't go the way we think we do better because we're having hard time transitioning from point A to point B. Is that when we hire someone and we telling them what to do, we should be questioning ourselves, where do we fail in the hire process? And then we blame the individual that we hire. We should be blaming ourselves because we made the wrong decision. Maybe we just put them then in the wrong position. Maybe we just expect them to be in a copy of us. I don't think that our team is a copy. I think the best thing you can do is to have an extension of you and not a copy. And nobody say that we are perfect. So to the question, it will be, there's power. You can dictate because there's no democracy. But controls, as you get farther from your team on that stages, you know who have the most information, accurate information? It isn't you.
Yeah, so, yep.
True information and detailed information is all the way to the field where you're not seeing. That's control.
I need like just a moment to almost like process all of that, because I think you're right, Angel. I think a lot of people do mix up those words. Why it's so important, number one, to understand what words actually mean and their true definition. Alex, I have a question that's just coming randomly to my mind here. When we're talking about leveling up and the different phases, we've talked about how the business changes, the processes have to change so it doesn't break, the people change, your thought process on hiring those people change. How do you change along the way? What did that internal scale look like for you? Talk to us about some of those changes, because
Internal
I mean,
scale. Internal
yeah,
scalability. That sounds cool. We should coin that.
Yeah,
I've never heard that.
yeah.
absolutely. I'm a huge advocate of you want your business to stop growing, stop learning. You will find yourself, if you're growing, you're always going to find yourself challenging yourself and your team. Be ready for that challenge. If you're not changing, if you're not moving up, you're not growing, you're not challenging your team. And it starts with you. You want to grow, you want to be, successful and having a big business, make sure you're willing to change yourself. Because your team you will embrace change. Because if you change, and I don't mean change just to come and disrupt your business. It have to be a thought out, very planned changes that occur. Right? Again, using the analogy of the house, right? You're building your house, the house being the business, right? You might want just to come and build second floor, and you don't have the foundation for doing it. Change can happen. You can put them in there, and it might last, and a little wind comes and knock that down. The thought process will come and say, okay, how much weight can these pillars support, right? Well, guess who needs to know that? You. Because nobody else had that vision. Just you know how many floors you want to build a house. Nobody else. That's what I call vision. You're seeing something that nobody else is seeing. But you have to ask yourself, that am I calculating? Oh, I don't know how to calculate that. All right. Do you know how to search for information? Do you know how to hire someone that is an expert in this field? Well, you're asking me how do you move on? Because you have to change, and the change comes with information. Continue educating yourself, continue motivating yourself, because there's many people behind you, but no one in front of you. I like this quote, and I will close this with that quote. Is there's one of my mentors come to me, and he said, we met the enemy today, and the enemy says, you are the enemy.
Damn, damn. We met the enemy today, yeah. Oh, y'all, me, us. Oof. Um, the more we talk about this, the more I realize the people that don't change, right? Like the people that swear that, I mean, we've all met that person that's like, bro, I grow every day. I'm growing every day. And you're like, not really. You're just taking on more responsibility that you shouldn't. So let me kind of take that thought. So you were talking about control versus power. I know a
Yeah.
lot of people that think they're successful because they're trying to control more things in their life and put it all on their plate. And then they mask that, they distinguish that as power. I'm powerful because I control all these factors and I have all these things on my plate, but they're not really changing inside. Does that make sense? So now they're the CEO, but they're also doing floor care, but they're also doing their own financials, but they're like, I'm a straight hustler. And you're like, well, or have you gotten stuck in your same position and you're just taking on more roles to make it seem like you have power? Because if you do change internally, then you're saying, hey, let me bring the smart person. Let me bring this. Let me do this. Let me build people that are better than me on it. That's like real power. So I was just thinking of that.
Yeah. I think on that, within those lines, what comes to my mind is, yeah, you can have both, but it doesn't mean you are more than, power is giving you that control, or control giving you that power. But let's this. I'm going to use the example you presented, right? I mean, so I'm taking on all these responsibilities. I know I have the power to give it to someone else, right? But have to give up control to do that. Now, that I'm using my power if I'm just taking it on myself. No, I'm just keeping controls.
Exactly.
But you have the power to develop someone, to do something, to take something out of your plate, but you don't use that power, right? And they also, you touch on something very interesting. When you talk about you taking all those, keeping those controls, just remember, when you shine, when you shining and you wants to be the one that take all the reward because you the one control, guess who is in the dark?
Employees,
Your team.
your team.
So you're not, power comes with great responsibility. You hear that, Spider-Man, right? But what is the power that you have to change your organization, to develop your employees, right? To give them what they need. You work on your business or in your business. It's your decision. And I will throw you back to those stages. I, we, they. Where are you? That's what I ask you, man. And it's interesting. I also think we many times when we have this conversation, this particular topic with other entrepreneurs and business owners, I like to ask the question: what happens if tomorrow you cannot operate your business? What happens tomorrow you cannot go to work?
Yep.
And they're like, I don't know. I guess someone is going to step. Who? Do you train that individual? Will you provide the same powers and controls that you have to someone else
Sheesh.
to do it?
There it is.
And then you say, maybe not. Will you provide the access to your entire house, a master key to someone else?
Sheesh.
Maybe
See,
not.
if you're listening to this right now, that's one of the reasons why you need to be in Denver, Colorado, September 12th or the 14th, is to sit down at a roundtable with one of many experts, but specifically a guy like Alex, that you hear a whole different perspective on. When you hear, Angel, you're so right. You hear scale every single day in business terminology. Oh, we're scaling, or do this to scale. And so many people connect that to revenue. They don't connect that to change. When your revenue changes, your business changes.
You
Alex, I
change.
got one.
Yeah.
You changed. Absolutely. I got one last kind of, it's a professional, but also a personal question for you. So someone that has seen different levels of scales, the I, we, they levels, what do you focus on now in your phase of business running? I mean, you have hundreds of employees, you've seen hundreds of different business scenarios at your level of scale now. Like, what are some things you're focusing on with your business to go to the next level, or is it maintaining? I'm just curious.
So what's after that? Let me rephrase this question. What's after they?
Yeah, well, yeah. What's after that? Great
Yeah.
rephrase.
Yeah. Instead of trying to, what's after they? We, we,
Then,
they, and
then,
then.
then. Um, manage resources for sure, but it's team development. Team development. Um, let's let's understand stages in regards to titles, right? And Angel, we have the opportunity at one point, or I think you asked me the same question, and I laid it out, and I say I recognize the I, the technician, which is the individual doing the service. The we is the manager. They is the president, referring they do, and they become all of them. That's the chairman. So think about what he needs to do then. Develop teams, develop those CEOs, develop those, leaders, provide experience, guidance, mentoring, and resources so they can do what they're supposed to do and make the right decisions for you.
I can't wait for someone to go talk to you, because I bet there's going to be some people here wanting to get out that they haven't even thought that their next level is chairman of your company and then placing somebody as the president of the company. I don't think a lot of people get to that, right? Man. Well, look, I have one question, and then I know James has one question based on a roulette here that he's going to pull up, or not even a roulette, it's like a deck of cards. One question, Alex. Why'd you agree on obviously your time is valuable. Why'd you agree to lead a roundtable? Why'd you decide to get involved?
So excited spending time with you guys. Last year when I was the keynote speaker, I love the energy. So I'm inviting everyone, September 12th to the 14th. You cannot miss it. Even myself, after so many years of experience, in the industry, I scaled my business from one technician to hundreds of them. I'll tell you, the learning, the energy is just amazing. So, of course, I will say yes, and I'm already on my calendar every year. I will be there, guys. So there's nothing else that more exciting than talking with an individual with the same mindset, in the same industry. We have a great keynote speakers. I saw the roundtables. So I told myself, well, I'm not going to be a keynote speaker. I got to be there, and also sharing the experiences. I know there's others, have walked the steps that I have walked before, and others that have already take other terms that I need to learn from them. So I mean, it's exciting. Why not? September 12th to the 14th. I expect to see everyone there. I'm
Let's
excited to
go.
see you guys and, spend time. And it's just, why not?
It's gonna be a
This is
good
exactly
time.
what we need in the industry. This is what we need in the industry. You don't see this every day. So excited
uh,
to be
I
there.
wish we could tell people what we have planned, but we can't because we're gonna change some lives. I know people say that and like, oh, you can't change lives through an event. Oh, just watch me. Just watch us. It's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a great transformational time. James, I'll kick it
All
off
right.
to you, brother.
All right, Alex, we got this deck of cards, question roulette. We don't know what comes out of
Woo! Let's see
this.
what comes out.
All right, so it sounds like you're down to play.
Here we go. I hope it's a good one.
Oh,
Let's see.
this is good. This is good. Alex, if you had to teach a class on one thing today, what would you teach? Might have just taught one.
I know he definitely taught one, but what's one you would teach? Here, I'm gonna rephrase it. What if you could only teach one topic for the rest of your life?
One class for the rest of my life. Wow.
Yeah, like like those hardware teacher, but you can only talk one topic going forward.
I'm going to take a second, like you said, I need a second to think about this. I'll say, I really love business scalability, but I think it will say self-development, because business scalability comes right behind when you start developing yourself. So self-development, and that is mentally, physically, leadership, all of the above, because a CEO, entrepreneur needs to have it all. So that would be.
Oh,
Boom.
I love it.
Yeah,
Well, James, it's always a pleasure to have you, brother. Thank you for co-hosting this together.
you too, man.
Alex, thank you for joining us in the Profitable Cleaner. Feeling blessed to have you here. And again, go to the show notes, check out his LinkedIn, check out his other companies, check out USource, right? But guys, see you September 12th to the 14th. Trust me, you want to be and you want to get your VIP tickets because we are doing something special. So make sure you get your tickets. Thank you so much, Alex, and welcome
Thank
to
you,
the
guys.
Profitable Cleaner.
Thank you, guys. And I hope to see a lot of people, a lot of you guys that are listening to this podcast on September 12th to the 14th. I will be there. I would love to meet with you and, share experiences. Thank you so much.
Boom.
Thank you, everyone.
Boom. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.